Hey everyone, welcome to the Backlash podcast. This is episode 5. I'm Eric. I'm running solo today. Scott and I recorded an episode earlier on. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties and some time limitations, Scott's not able to be along with the re-recording for the show. So, this is my first time running solo, so let's get right to it. We're going to start off with a new segment we're introducing to the show called Around the Web. Here we're going to focus on, everything that's going on with Raw Deal all around the world and what we can find online. So starting it off is Raw Deal TV Chile recently had Al Snow on the show playing some cards. This is the same group that had Xavier Woods play in their tournament. Except with Al Snow, they took a different approach. They didn't do Backlash decks. They were just throwing moves back and forth. Check them out on YouTube and the Facebook group. It's worth checking out. Al Snow even did some product placements for one of the local restaurants there. Let's see what these guys bring in the future. Show your support. Show them that you're watching. Next up, it was brought up in our Throwback Thursday Facebook post for Iron Will. Hugo brought up asking about a Discord channel for Raw Deal. I only have minimal experience with Discord, playing a bit of Pokemon Go. Scott hadn't used Discord at all beforehand, so neither of us knew that there was a Raw Deal channel, so we decided to create one up. If you're interested, I'm going to put the links in the show notes and everywhere else that we post all of our social media. However, you're just listening and you want to type it into Discord, just use the invite code lowercase v 58, uppercase W, lowercase q, uppercase A, uppercase U. After we had created this, he had posted on Team Canada Online also asking if anyone knew of one. So one of the users there posted a Team Canada Online Discord channel group. So if you want to, if you're a part of that forum and you want to check out what they're doing, they do a lot of their Lackey tournament information there, but they also have categories for all different deck discussions as well. Sherman, he added a comment in one of the videos bringing up a Facebook group called RD Proxies. This is when we were talking about the Chile fantasy sets. The organizers of the group, they do some really nice fantasy cards, proxies updating art for existing cards. They also did some Lucha Underground fantasy cards. Really good if you watch that series on cable or Netflix. But what they really do that I like, that I haven't seen elsewhere, is they reskin superstars. So what they've done is they've taken China and made her into Nia Jax. They take Viscera, made it into Baron Corbin. Full superstar sets on there. They keep it really recent too. You can find Samoa Joe, Adam Cole, Gallows and Anderson on there. And it's a great way to modernize the Raw Deal game without having to worry about learning new cards and using all the familiar stuff. So absolutely the way to go. We're going to move on to Daniel on Facebook. He created a group called Raw Deal Battle Arena. So the idea he has with this is to play tournaments via FaceTime. So you may have seen him if you're on any of the Raw Deal groups on YouTube. He was pushing the idea of doing just a small little tournament with Premier, fully loaded Backlash, and Survivor Series 1. So if you have those physical cards, or if you want to print out the proxies through the other means, go ahead, check him out. I was talking with him briefly before our first recording. Ask him, hey, you want me to bring up anything? And he's got the idea where he wants to have, make it a regular thing, but have champions. So you win the tournament, you get a championship belt that you can reveal with your deck. I'm assuming one of the already existing ones in the game. And it carries on like that. He's also working on a Hardcore 24/7 one, so you get to play the Hardcore title belt with that. Let's move on to some stuff that's happening on Team Canada Online. There's currently a poll, as of recording, asking people if they want to see the NXT format added to the World Championships that they hold at Gen Con every year. Now, this is going to be in addition to the other formats. Right now, they do Virtual Classic, Virtual All Access, and Virtual Revolution. So what they do after the Swiss Cut is everyone gets to pick. It's a best of 3, and then you get to pick what deck you want to play from what format. So they're going to add a 4th format, so you may play a best of 3 and not even get a chance to play one of the decks you have brought. If you ever plan on going to Gen Con to play in their events, this is a good time to get your voice heard. The NXT format, it's similar to the old Afterburn format. Back with Comic Images developed games. And what they do is it was just limited releases. I think they cut it off to the later sets, Survivor Series 3. I think it was Armageddon, Survivor Series 3, and later. But what they do with NXT is they errata cards specifically for this format, like giving Skirt the Issue, making it unique, or you can only pack one, and stuff like that. Definitely make your voice be heard if you ever want to go to Gen Con to play some Raw Deal. And lastly, in this segment, Team Canada Online, they've confirmed that we're going to have a virtual holiday set 3. Creed was nice enough to send us a little leak, a little sprinkle of information on the set. So it's going to be called Payback. The headliner is AJ Styles. Funny enough, every superstar in this Payback set have been on a pay-per-view at the same title. And they're going to follow a trend with this, including characters with previously released cards. So we're going to finally get Natalya in the game. I think she has 4 cards in the game already. I think 5 shared with Hart Dynasty, Beth Phoenix, and the Hart Foundation faction card. I know I'm excited for both of those superstars. So make sure you visit the site. I know that habit's been around Christmas time or on Christmas Day. So pop on TCO on Christmas when you're done opening gifts and check that out. Moving on to, what I've been doing lately with Raw Deal is the most recent tournament I played Trish Stratus. It was a virtual tournament with all the updated cards. I did pretty well with her. I was really happy, considering actions aren't really at the forefront of the virtual. It's a lot of aggressive maneuvering. I ran into an old school wrestling match stipulation where if I end my turn without playing a move, I have to overturn 6 cards. However, with Trish's newest pre-match card, instead of overturning, I just removed my top card of the arsenal from the game. Extremely beneficial. This is a Batista deck I was playing against. It was one of my favorite matches of the game. It was close, back and forth. Unfortunately, it wasn't one of the recorded ones. But what I really liked about that game is he started the game first on my second turn. I was able to play Give Me a Little, reducing all of my cards for my turn and his next turn by 7, playing a 100% Stratus faction guaranteed, searching for my Stratospheres, and playing all 3 successfully. I didn't run into You're as Graceful as a Cow on Ice because I discarded it off of Summer of Slam. It's very lucky with that one, and that had to have been my best pull from that card all day. I'm going to do a little deck review of it video, aside from this. Go over what it is, what changes I would make with it. So look towards that. Our next tournament coming up is going to be on December 16th. We're just going to do Virtual Classic again. My current plan is to put together Dean Ambrose. I know Scott's been favorably talking about Seth Rollins, so I kind of want to go along with the theme that he has. Dean is very heat-based. When you successfully play a heat card or a Dean Ambrose specific, you may promo 2. Promo is you look at the top 2 cards of your deck in this case, put one into your hand, discard the other one. And when he would move cards from the ringside pile with a unique card, the number of heat cards removed from the game with the heat trait is reduced to 1. It's not random, so you're going to get to choose, which I like as well. Keep all those heat cards there. What else do we have here? He had his newest backstage area card. All 3 Shield members got a new backstage area card that increases superstar value and hand size. So he increases his value by 2, making him a 5/4. And you may also increase your hand size by 3. When your opponent plays a reversal, you can randomly discard up to 3 cards, and you're reducing that reversal by 40 each time. It's really good in our play area. We're still seeing a lot of hybrid reversals. I know there's that one pre-match card. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my hand that prevents all players from playing hybrid reversal cards. I know that is a big competitive card. A lot of people shun hybrid reversals that I've seen, at least on the forums. We haven't seen it around town here because we're not overly competitive, but we're competitive players. So that's really good. I mean, you're getting up to a 12 damage reduction on a trademark finisher. That could be the difference of winning and losing a game. Another highlight for Dean Ambrose I like is he has got a mid-match action. It's 5 fortitude normally, but when your opponent successfully plays a maneuver, you could just put it into play. That allows you to play up to an addition. You can play an additional heat card on your turn and your opponent's turn from ringside pile, as well as he can play foreign objects from ringside without reversed in the text, as if they were heat. So that's cool. I want to do a little bit of a theme with heat, but also throwing the foreign objects. Unfortunately, the foreign objects don't count as heat cards in the ringside pile, so I have to keep that in mind when I'm doing my deck construction. But look forward to the next podcast where we're going to talk about the tournament. Also, I'm looking at the chili sets. I brought them up last show. There are 2 characters that I want to build. I want to build 2 decks and demo it for the local play area. Also, what I like about these chili sets is they don't have non-superstar specific cards. So you're just dealing with new superstar sets with the old card pool. So the first one's AJ Styles. Once during each of your turns, you can overturn 2 and then play a maneuver from ringside pile. If that maneuver is not successful, though, you're putting it on the bottom of your arsenal instead. He's a 7 hand size, 4 superstar value. Like the idea, it's a different style of play. You're going with your ringside pile manipulation. That's playing, and we had brought that up on previous podcasts. The importance of being able to control that ringside pile. You're using it as a second resource. So this is a neat idea. Maybe the other deck I'm going to run, I can't remember. It has Simon Dean on it. You're reversing any card play from ringside. That would be a fun little counter to AJ Styles. But I just want to build these kind of straightforward kind of demo decks. His pre-match card is pretty potent though. They don't want none. It's increasing your pre-match by 1. At the end of the pre-match phase, you're searching your arsenal for up to 7 maneuver cards, and you're revealing them. You're putting 1 into your hand and the rest into your ringside pile. Afterwards, you're searching your opponent's arsenal for the same number of non-fortitude 0 maneuvers. He gets to put 1 into his hand, and you're putting the rest into his ringside pile. On our first recording, Scott had brought up that the AJ player could search for 3 thrust knee lifts, put them on the bottom, and you, in theory, could get rid of every maneuver you just searched for your opponent. That's really mean. I don't think I'm going to include that idea in this deck because it's pretty discouraging for introducing new concepts to players. The idea is just to, show what these cards and abilities can do and to ease people into it and not discourage people from wanting to try it out. The next character is Sasha Banks. She's a 6/4. Your cards titled Don't Cross the Boss are -6 fortitude. And during your opponent's turn, when he successfully plays an action card, you may put a card from your ringside pile on the bottom of your arsenal for every Don't Cross the Boss in your ring area. So you can do this after your first turn. If your opponent ends his turn without playing an action card, you may put 1 card from your ringside pile into your hand. Now I think this is going to be interesting with a classic card pool how this is going to work out. Like I said earlier, virtual, at least in my experience, is very maneuver based, very aggressive play style. Where with classic, you can get away with building, action heavy decks. After you get around cow, I find that a lot of decks in classics is just 3 volley this, maybe an unscrupulous SOB. So after that, you're going to get your actions through as a character, but you're not necessarily going to have your opponent playing a lot of actions. I think a volley deck with a Sasha would be pretty frustrating because your opponent's never going to play a maneuver or play an action if they keep reversing your volley cards by playing the cards to them. We got the boss glasses is a pre-match object. At the end of the pre-match phase, you may search your arsenal for Don't Cross the Boss, put it into your ring. So right away, at the beginning of the game, you're going to get that 1 card recovery every time they play an action. And when this card's in your ring, during any player's turn, you can put it into your ringside pile, and your next non-unique card played is -6 Fortitude. So it's kind of like a little bit of a Vince Interferes, but as a specific. I think this, in combination with Vince Interferes, could be nasty. I mean, Vince reduces the card by 12, so you could play an 18 Fortitude reversal right away. I think Indian Deathlock, I love that card. Just as a reversal, and I don't really pack it at all because how often do you get the opportunity to, align the stars and be able to play that as a reversal and have it in your hand. So these are 2 I'm looking at for demoing this new deck concepts to my play group. You could check these out. This is from the Raw Deal Chili Expansions Facebook group that I had brought up on the last show. This one focuses on more up-to-date superstars, where the other Facebook group focuses on the Ruthless Aggression era of the game and the Attitude era. I highly recommend both. Both groups don't do or non-superstar specifics. They just focus on the characters and giving them the card support. One thing I wish these guys did, though, and it's actually including the Facebook groups that put together alternate arts and proxies, is if you want to print off any of these, you need to have Photoshop or another program where you're able to copy and paste the cards onto a printable sheet. I'd like to see these guys in the file portion of these groups, or even release images of printable sheets. That way you can just send to printer, or I don't have a printer at home here, so I just put it on my USB stick. I go to the local print shop and print it off there. I pay 44 cents a sheet, so I print off 9 cards if I'm doing my own sheets. Where virtual, they offer 8 cards a sheet. So much easier. I like to see these guys make those changes because I feel a whole lot more people are going to benefit from the work these guys are doing. I mean, they're not rushing these out. These guys are, putting a lot of effort into wanting to make these available for people. So I'd like to see them put in. I don't want to say put in more effort, but I just like to see more people have these easily available for them. Next, I'm going to bring up the card of the show. Now, Scott and I had 2 cards. They are 2 World Champion cards that we, on our last recording. We're going to skip that now. I'm going to bring that up on the next show. I'm just going to take the time right now and bring up my personal favorite hybrid reversal in the game, which is Nervhole. I love it as a move. I love it as a reversal. It's a classic card. It's a submission maneuver, but it reverses a grapple and submission. 6 Fortitude, 1 damage. As a maneuver, your next card played this turn... if your next card played this turn is a submission maneuver of 60 or greater, it cannot be reversed from your opponent's hand or Backlash deck. As a reversal, reverse any grapple or submission maneuver and end your opponent's turn. Now, you can't play it with first to tap out match either. However, what I like about this, and with virtual, And a return back to Scotty's Worm. I think Milamo, that classic reversal, as well as they hit non-unique maneuvers. So you play this as a maneuver. No one's going to think anything of it. At least the first time you play a unique move after it, they're going to have a lot more limitations. They can't play "Don't Be a Douchebag" against it, which reverses any non-unique maneuver with a reversal restriction. So right away you're getting around that. I've only played this as a maneuver a handful of times that I can recall. Usually I'm keeping it in my hand to reverse, a grapple or submission. I used to pair this up with backslide all the time because they're around the same fortitude curve. However, someone suggested to me that I run the throwback leg drag instead, which reverses any strike maneuver of 6D or greater. It's not very often you're going to see maneuvers that are under, that are 5 damage or less. Only thing I could think of offhand would be like the kick, throwback, or super kick if they're running homecoming, so you don't really have a reason to run that maneuver otherwise. So I started playing that. I played that in a few decks, and it worked so much better for me. And if I'm at 3 fortitude, because with judo chokes or other means like a panic and a clutch, that's going to get your 6 fortitude for the nerve holds. I can't praise this card enough. This is in my regular reversal suite that I run after I put in my roll out of the rings. Check it out. As long as you don't have that hybrid reversal hate in your play area, this is a must pack. I like it more than the throwback Spinebuster because it's only from hand. The old Spinebuster can reverse on overturn, but you're limited to reversing grapples. That's all I have to say about that. Other than that, I think that's going to be it for the show. Any of the viewer stuff I covered at the beginning of the show with Around the Web. So that's going to be a regular segment. I'm always looking out online to see what kind of news we can bring up and involved with the community. If you have anything that you would like to see highlighted on the show, use Backlash Pod on Gmail, Twitter, Facebook, post on the YouTube links, send me a personal message on either Facebook or on Twitter. Coming up, we still want to work on that virtual roundtable. I want to live stream it, but we brought this up before we knew about the technical difficulties. It's difficult to get 4 people on a stream when you're using limited equipment. All I do for these recordings I use my iPad. I have my microphone hooked up to it now, but usually we just use lapel microphones, and with 4 people, it's more difficult to do that with only 2 microphones. So I'm figuring out ways to do it. I like to have it done by the new year, but Christmas time in the month of December is always so busy. Interviews are coming up as well. I'm pretty busy this time of the year, like I just said, so it's hard to align everything with the people I want to talk to, but we're still going to speak with Mike Canoe. I've got a tournament organizer in Singapore that I'm going to do an interview with, and I have a player in Chile as well. That's going to be the show this time. Keep an eye open on the YouTube page for more Barrie Wrestling, this local independent wrestling show, if you're interested in that. Tyson Dukes is the current champion, who was on the Cruiserweight Classic. I have some tournament games coming up that I'm going to post. And who knows what other little surprises, deck reviews, other videos will be coming up in the future. Until then, keep playing. That's going to be it for this week. That's all I've got for this week, guys. Stay tuned on the YouTube channel for some Barrie Wrestling. New champion Tyson Dukes, who was in the Cruiserweight Classic last summer. He's going to be in one of the matches in the upcoming show. We're going to have our tournament games from November coming up soon. As well as that, who knows what other surprises you're going to see. I already brought up the deck review. There could be more videos coming up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you're always getting the updates of what's going on there. Until next time, I'm Eric. We'll have Scott. Have a good one.